Brittany from Imagine This, a music and art studio for both children and adults, and today we are going over Art 2's lesson. Art 2 is our intermediate course, and for the past few lessons we have been going over face proportions, and today we're going to have a little fun and take a break, but at the same time still doing faces with cartoons. Now I have loved cartoons probably since I was a baby. I can remember them always being a part of my life with Disney and everything. So I'm going to just show you a few tips and tricks on how to do cartoons. Now, as our good friend Bob Ross said, there are no mistakes and only happy accidents, and the happiest ones I tend to find are with cartoons. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start off like we would with a realistic portrait, and we're going to start off with a circle. Now again, this is just to provide a base for our cartoon or person, whichever you choose. Now, when doing cartoons, one thing that I like to keep in mind is that cartoons are meant to be exaggerated, fun, and whimsical. So, what I like to do when creating portraits is find one or two aspects of a person to emphasize. Now, I like to emphasize the eyes because I believe they're like portals to the soul. And then maybe I like to emphasize the hair as well, just because I really like hair. So you want to make those features just a bit bigger than you normally would, taking some of what we've learned in the past weeks and kind of just throwing it to the wind and seeing what happens. And even with cartoons, you don't have to necessarily do the realistic proportions or chin on the sides. If you want, you could just do a complete circle and draw a face within that. Because cartoons are all about simplifying the realistic to make it more fun. So try different things. If you don't want to do like a circle cartoon, try squares and all sorts of different shapes. But the whole point of doing cartoons is to just have fun and break the boundaries of reality with it. So you'll notice I'm drawing some really huge eyes, and it's not fitting that 5 rule that we have on the face earlier. But when it comes to cartoons, that's okay. As long as they're about the same size, it looks pretty good. And even some cartoons have characters that have different sized eyes. Just try and break some of those boundaries. So I'm making really big eyes here. And what you emphasize also tells you a lot about the character itself. So this could be a really young character with really big doe-like eyes. Maybe I'll add a little shine in the eye. Again, I mentioned this earlier, with cartoons, it's all about simplicity. It's not about complex shadowing or shading. Really, it's about just having fun with shapes and seeing what you can make out of it. And even for the nose, like we talked about setting apart the area right here, I could do just like a little bump. Honestly, cartooning is basically just having fun, making reality into a fantasy. I'm just doing a little round-headed cartoon right here. But it is important to note that in some aspects of what we've learned in proportioning, they do apply to cartooning as well. For example, with the ears and the positioning, though it might not be exactly the same as we did it when doing realistic proportions, they still apply in generally where they go. Unless you decide, oh no, I don't want my cartoon to be more human, I want them to have some animal features. In which case, with cartooning, you're allowed to do that. So with animals, they'd be on top of the head. So really just have fun with your imagination and see where it can go. Maybe try one of your relatives as a cartoon, or maybe yourself. Just have fun and try different little combinations to make up your own fun characters. But that's all I have to say. We'd love to see your images, and have a good day.